Hall, approved a couple months ago. They are coming in tonight. I see someone, I don't know who that is. So we'll call this meeting to order. It is October 4th, 2021. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we have a roll call of Dave Price.
Here.
Nick Rue.
Here.
Jeff Hamilton.
Here.
Holly Landis. Here. President Pro Tem Dwayne Vanoy.
Here.
And it looks like we have one absent council member, Ron.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Oh, yeah.
So has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? If so, I would entertain a motion for approval of minutes.
Second.
I was making an entertaining motion for.
Okay, sorry.
We're real casual around here.
I'm making a motion to approve the minutes.
There you go. I'll second Holly's motion instead of yours.
All right.
Entertaining.
And, are there any other discussion about all the minutes? And how about a vote for? Looks like all in favor. I know that there are, people before council that are at the municipal building. I believe it's Girl Scout Troop 2686, but we'll double check that. And it looks like the buyers are here, are you all for entertaining?
Entertaining purposes. Yeah. Probably not.
Are you all here to observe, or do you all have something you would like to present to council?
We just got a few questions.
Please. Okay, great. Please ask your questions.
Okay, first, where do we get contact for Shelley Paving?
Contact for Shelley Paving?
Yeah, the one that's on Alderman Street.
Ben,
Ben's the
you know
contact.
Ben Hendrick?
No, I did not.
Okay, this is Ben Hendrick. He is our,
Village administrator.
village administrator extraordinaire. This,
What's
so,
going on with paving?
Well, Saturday, they put down Burning Road. And that,
Look at you some
put the
chairs.
brush and swept the road. They slung it all over the side of the people. My wife rides a Range Rover, and I'm not very happy about it at all.
I'm just gonna walk between you guys, I'm sorry. Alright, look how tall and beautiful.
And we were home Saturday, we did it all. Not a problem.
Thank you, they got it. Come on in, I'm sorry, I keep walking around.
Yeah, I'm gonna go behind you.
Well, see, he's more considerate. So, Ben, you heard this issue with the Shelley?
Yeah, I mean, I can call Alan Brown in the morning, that's the only thing I go to do, is call the engineer and have him. If it did damage to their car, then they didn't take care of it.
You guys got an estimate for damages, repairs and everything yet?
Well, I mean, so far I see no damages. I mean, this has got lines been slung over the side. It's still there now. I mean,
Didn't appear scratched or dented or anything?
not like I can tell. Good. I haven't.
I don't see why, I don't blame you, because if I had a new car, I wouldn't want stuff thrown on the side of it either.
Strip the windows, like the back windows, clear up.
So we got pictures of it. These are what these in.
And y'all, do you got pictures?
Yes.
Will you email them to villageofamanda@hotmail.com, please?
And we'll send them off to the engineer, and let him, the engineer can get in contact with
Like
them.
I said, they could just knock on the door and say, hey,
Did you move your car?
Move your car.
Yeah, I mean, we would gladly
It
do
was on
that.
Saturday morning. We noticed it about 12:30 last time. That's what we noticed already on.
Yeah, email the pictures over to the village email address and give them to Alan Brown, so they can figure out what's going on with it. We'll do that.
They, I can follow up on what Eric said. They really did a poor job of communicating with anybody on Halderman. They live next door to me, so. They did, I mean, they blocked the driveways, they didn't, I mean,
They were supposed to be, they told me they would let anybody in and out, because
Yeah.
I talked with them, especially when they were doing Midwest over here, in front of Midwest, I said, they've got to be able to get their trucks, and he said, the head guy told me that, he said, if anybody needs in and out, all they gotta do is let us know, and we will make sure they can get in and out.
yeah, my wife had an issue, picking up the kids and getting back home, so.
Learning lesson maybe,
Yeah.
next time we have paving, we need to also put something out to our residents.
Yeah, and I think that'd be great if we could something, I mean,
It's been-
go ahead, signs on doors,
Yeah.
whatever.
It was on our website for over a month, and when it was gonna be done.
Yeah, but
Some people don't get online, I'll go knock on doors if I have to, without.
So you guys moved away from High Street, because you lived in High Street one time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to live next door to me.
Yeah, you see your neighbor, not his neighbor.
Oh, great.
We just switched off.
Now, when we post on the website, this is me not knowing too, do we give a specific date for paving or is it like a time frame?
I think this one said it was gonna be between this date and this date, I think is what I put on
So
there.
maybe, and I don't know if their schedule's like going forward, maybe try to nail down the actual day pending weather. So we can kind of put it out because, you know, same thing, you know, if you get a lead time frame, it's hard to plan. When my alley was done, they were good about getting in and out, but I was blocked on both sides, had to move equipment. There's not a lot of space to get out of the alley anyhow, so.
I think when we're working on somebody's street or in their immediate area that they're affected, yeah, posting on the website's a great tool, but when we're doing, I mean, what are we talking, 20 houses?
Yeah.
We could have very easily gone and put notices on the door. I mean, just as a common courtesy.
We're gonna ask the most outgoing council person to do that.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's-
Leaks down the hall. It's on the record.
I don't mean to make light of this occasion. Yeah, it is a learning lesson, I'm glad you brought it to our attention.
They did a good job, like.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
It was like that, paving, I mean,
Yeah.
didn't I jump early too, I mean, hey,
I was impressed, I'd never seen it done that
They
good.
didn't do, like, where our driveways are, like, obviously mine's in front of the house. They didn't blend it in very well. Well, that's why they brushed it up inside the car, but, like, they didn't.
Did you make them mad buyers? Because they actually fixed my driveway.
Yeah, they fixed the neighbor's too, but on mine.
Yeah, where
Well,
dad had that
So you- now you have a
gravel
hump
hump,
coming
they
out.
knocked it
Yeah, with a
out.
hump going out, yeah. Even like in chunks of, like, asphalt, fixing this gravel.
I would, if you want to take pictures of that too and send it off with the car pictures, so we can kind of have an idea what it looks like,
So
so.
I guess they can blend the market with their vehicle, all they do on the floor.
Yeah, I'd send
You want them to
pictures,
be-
send pictures of the vehicle and send pictures of the approach with the driveway and street are, so.
yeah, I mean, we can always back up on a punch list and take, come back, sure, and do that.
Because they're punch listing like sewers and curb and like different stuff, you know, so I'm sure they wouldn't mind doing that, when they come back to do that.
You said you had a couple questions.
Yes, and the next, quality of our water is poor.
The quality of water is horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
In
everything.
what ways? Are there coloration or
Must be like
taste?
calcium.
lime, calcium.
Sorry about
It's
that.
got lime in it.
And that line, the hardness of the water, like white residue and stuff
It's
like
horrible.
that.
We have a brand new home, we have brand new plumbing, brand new everything. It's gonna be ruined within a year because of all the calcium or whatever it is that's in that water. Is there not, from the 1%, that we pay, is there not money in that funds to do something with the treatment plant?
We've got, actually, we've got one with fairly new treatment plant down there. And our treatment plant has got, it's an ion exchange, so it's got two softeners in it and stuff. But I worked in Lancaster Water, and they had the same situation. I mean, you got lime in the ground where it comes out with the water, and basically what you get from that white stuff's the lime molecules. And it's not as bad as what the hardness used to be. When I used to live in town, before they did a new plant, I could change my heating element in my hot water tank. I guarantee you, in 3 or 4 months, you had to change it again, the bottom element would be out. Now, since we've got the softeners and stuff, you don't have that issue anymore. That's pretty much.
Just like I know Lisa from the had spades, she said it was every 2 of their coffee pots, so every $1,000 a piece. I mean, like I said, we pay 1% of our paychecks, and I know it's a good chunk of just our paychecks. There needs to be something done with water. We're paying for city water, and we're not getting the quality, we still have to go pay $2,000 for a water softener, which I think is ridiculous, whenever there has to be something else we can do with some funds to fix the water in town. And I've heard other people complain about it too, that, like I said.
Both issues, water and 1% are the main complaints we get.
Yeah, because like I said, the water's horrible. times a week. I mean, I've had well water before. The rust is not there, but everything else is. So like I said, there's gotta be some kind of filter system, that we need something done to, like I said, we're paying all that money, we're paying a water bill, you would think you'd get a little better quality of water than what we're getting.
My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm not gonna argue to your point. My understanding is our water bill is high in most people's opinion because there are costs to our new tower, our new water plant.
The water plant has to be self-sufficient. It cannot be paid for through our income taxes. It's
So it's not
totally
100%.
self-sufficient.
And
The water plant alone, we have about $150,000 a year just in the debt alone for the water plant, and the tower, and then, another couple $100,000 every year just to operate it. Our rates is actually still lower than some areas, big, huge cities that have multiple, residents, it's gonna be lower at, because, they have a lot more people taking over that
Well, the
responsibility.
thing is, they're not paying a water bill.
Right.
I mean, forget the city water, let me have well water, I can treat it just as well as I can, and not have a water bill. But the water is horrible.
I'll tell you what now, in defense, the school had the water tested. They actually shut their softeners down. The water was tested, and they said the quality of our water was, you can talk to the guys at the school. They said our water quality is far better than most of the towns and stuff around.
So is it possibly a piping issue or something like that, Ben?
It shouldn't be, I mean, they're on a 2-inch line going down that street, because that's all that's down in Holton.
Their snow more pouring than ours does here in town, by far.
I want to keep this on a timely manner, I'm not trying to be rude, it's in our ordinances or bylaws or whatever, to keep 5 minutes per person. And I was saying, I validate what you're saying, I feel like our water softeners and our water treatment is being held to the bill, and it's not what you want to hear. The 1%, I feel like it's divided into 3 things, nothing to do with water. And a budget meeting in the new year may reevaluate how that 1% is spent, and it may not. I can't predict what's gonna happen to that. To fix this issue, or to try to make a solution, is there a suggestion our water department supervisor, village administrative has? Anything, any looking into, any water testing, anything that we can try to help to fix this solution, or fix this problem?
I mean, we have our water tested, and our water comes back. The EPA requires that we have to test it.
Right.
And I have to send hardness samples and everything in weekly
Daily,
to the
okay,
laboratory.
weekly.
And they're all coming in well under
Well, I guess,
what
do they
most
test,
places are coming.
do they test for the lime residue? Or
Well,
lime?
I mean,
I didn't know-
anytime you get your water out of the ground,
Yeah.
you're gonna get that lime residue. I mean, yes, our softeners and our filter takes a large portion of it out. Is it gonna take 100% of it out? No, it's not. It is not gonna do that.
So that sounds like a frustration, and with your new home and your new
Right.
pipes,
Right.
I understand your frustration.
Tankless water heater, I don't wanna, I mean, that's a big expense to replace.
Oh, I get it.
You know, I don't want to have to replace
So
that.
I will have
Water.
Russ call Eric, because we have a tankless, because we built right behind Dad's house and we're having the same issue. There is a blowback way to clean that takes the calcium, takes the lime, takes all of that out. So I will have Chris or Russ get a hold of you, because it's super quick to do, and your hot water our tank's going on 2 years now. No
Thank you,
problem
Stephanie
getting it done.
Benjamin.
I was gonna say too, like, I experienced the same thing that they experienced. I've actually replaced 5 coffee pots since I've lived in this village, and I've got to the point where we don't drink our water at my house, and we buy bottled water, and I have to use distilled water in every single electronic that I have in my house, because it has eaten
Yeah,
faucets.
you shouldn't
my
have to,
toilet,
you're paying for water.
Inside.
I understand, I validate what you're saying, definitely hearing you.
I'm gonna jump back in here too.
Okay.
Culligan, depending on the system that you get, can be anywhere from 500 up to 5,000, but they have reverse osmosis, they have the ion filters, they have filtration systems, they have undercount, like the sink, that you can put it directly on there. There, you can pay one and done for just to have them come and put the equipment in, or you can pay $35 a month, which guarantees the UV lights, guarantees all the filters, and they come out, every 6 months and change it out. I know it's more money on top of
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
on top of
already
water bill, that's the
paying, but
thing.
it gives you drinkable water, so you don't have to, ruin the environment
Right,
with plastic
yeah.
bottles. It gives you water that you can use to shower and to drink. It's a Band-Aid, but it's an option.
Yes,
Thank you.
I don't think any of us are immune from the water problems. I know, I clean my water tank out at least once a year, and every 5 years since I've been in that house, I've put a new.
Yeah,
Like Benny, lower elements constantly water.
I used to change my element
We can use.
every 3 months. It used to. I mean, it's not, most people not having to replace stuff nearly as often since we got the softeners in.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean,
You
with
think-
the line and stuff, you're not gonna eliminate completely. It don't matter what you do, can't
Well,
eliminate it.
Do you
Down to
think,
the ground.
yeah, right. Do you think this is something maybe you could bounce off Alan and just see if he's got any, that's his name, right, the engineer?
Alan, yeah.
And just see if he's got any ideas or thoughts, I mean, if there's some type of sediment filter or something, and maybe the answer is no, but, I mean,
It's an approach.
I'm not up on all the technology, and he seems like a great resource.
Oh, Alan, yeah, I mean, Alan was the one that designed the plant that was put in. So I don't know that there's any way that we're gonna completely eliminate the line and stuff. I mean, we can,
Well, maybe we can
I
reduce
can-
it, or if there's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
cost effective we can do. I mean, there might not be, but, I mean, maybe we
I
can
can
just ask.
It's an effort.
I can get in contact with Alan and see if he has any suggestions on anything. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's, no, you guys got the best you can get, but,
I'm glad that you all came, and seriously, because we need to know the concerns of our constituents. And not just hearing about the water bill, but also why are we paying this?
Because I don't mind paying the water bill if it's a
Yeah.
decent
So-
water. Like, I have no problem paying the water bill.
Yeah.
But it's when you're paying for horrible
Yeah.
quality,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna pay for a water softener on top of that, you
I
know.
And maybe we're constantly making upgrades to the plant anyways, right?
Yeah,
I mean, anytime we have,
the plant, like I say, the EPA comes in, they check the plant, every 3 years they come through, and they do a complete thing, it has to meet all their qualities. If it doesn't meet them, guess what? They're gonna shut us down. We send samples in weekly to be tested at the laboratory, and they're coming in well under what, matter of fact, like I said, the school shut their softeners down because they thought their softeners really weren't helping them any. From our water quality was good enough. They had a guy come in and did a private test for them, and he said, your water quality, he said, they think you got bad water here. He said, let them go over to Circle and stuff.
But how's come the sewer water smells completely different, smells more chlorinated than the water we have here in town?
It's the same water.
Because I have my little girl bring home water bottles, they smell like chlorinated water, pretty much compared to ours on here. So
You
it's
really,
like, yeah.
truthfully, you shouldn't taste the chlorine, be able to smell the chlorine.
You can smell it.
If you're smelling it, then it's.
Yeah, it's over-chlorinated.
Yeah, it's over-chlorinated.
Yeah.
We have to test for that daily too, to make sure the chlorine levels are at a certain
Well, I
level.
never noticed that our water home, but I noticed that our water bottles coming home.
Of course, they're on the end of the line too, so if you have the end of the line, it's possible that,
Yeah, so-
they're at the very end of the line. they could be
Dead end
still
out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're,
Well, it
They
sounds
could have a
like
little
the
bit more.
solutions for the vehicle are you're gonna send pictures into the email, villageofamanda@hotmail.com, and we will follow through with that. We'll follow through with speaking to the engineer and seeing if there's some other filtration or some other remedy. Were there any other questions?
That's all we have.
Okay, I'm so glad, like I said, that you're here. You're welcome to stay, and if it starts to get too lengthy, quietly leave. And so next we
Thanks for
have.
coming, guys, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Next, we have an amazing Girl Scout troop. What's your troop number? Is it 2686?
Yes.
Woo-hoo. Some of my favorites right there. Go ahead. These are not necessary unless moms want you to keep them on. And you're,
My name is Alana. This is Kira.
you both have gotten so tall. I want to see your smiles just for a second. Just for a second.
You're back. So we got approved to put a Gaga pit in the Amanda Ballpark playground.
he hasn't had the pleasure of seeing
I-
Gaga Ball. And let me.
It was last year.
So let me recap with you, if you don't mind. They had, been approved to do a Gaga Ball pit. Were you here for that? Do any of you remember, Holly?
It was right before COVID hit,
Yeah.
and then Girl Scouts shut us down for so long,
Yeah.
and then our cookie sales weren't great, so we're back to where we can go. So it's all composite materials, just like decking, so there's basically no maintenance to it. There's a 30-year limited warranty on the hinges and whatnot, and then there's a lifetime warranty on the actual boards themselves, because it's composite, it's supposed to be forever and ever. So we had gotten approval to put it on the left side of the playground, but when Sherry and I were out there Saturday, there's a big white hole that is like way stuck down into the ground and cemented. I don't even know what it goes to, but.
Was it
It
where
was
the
the old
merry-go-round?
Yes,
I think
is that what it was?
Merry-go-round.
Yeah, it used to be an old merry-go-round, yeah.
And so to explain the Gaga Ball pit, it's like octagonal
It's
shape.
basically like soccer meets dodgeball. It is an octagon. You use your feet, you kick the ball. If the ball tags you, you're out. But it's something that,
It's a Girl Scout
Yeah.
tradition, and are you using rubber pieces at the bottom? Or
it comes with,
just
it
dirt?
comes with everything. So
Okay.
it's like the planking and then the hinges
Okay.
and then, yeah, it's got like the padding along the bottom.
And-
And then the one we were looking at actually has a ball deposit. So we haven't really talked about that because we were thinking about starting off, hopefully the kids in the neighborhood are, we were gonna drop the balls to begin with and hopefully they stay there. You
Right.
know, that is one thing we didn't touch about.
Yeah.
If we're gonna, but a lot of kids bring their own balls to the playground as well, so.
Yeah. So council already approved the project. They are just asking for a different location
Yeah.
based on that. hole.
Unless we can figure out how to, if that's the old merry-go-round pole,
I'm sure that's what it is.
it's just a big
Yeah.
white,
It was
like
gonna
if
be
you're
the
looking
left of the
at.
playground.
Yeah, if you're looking at the
Yeah.
playground, it's just a big white.
The old merry-go-round used to sit right there.
Okay. I mean, we can sawzall it off, but I don't know how safe that would be as the kids are in there.
I don't know how far the ground is, I mean, I could possibly have the guys go down there with the backhoe and pull, see if they can pull it out. I don't know, I
Because
don't know
that's-
how big of a piece of concrete it's got on, whether they could get it out with that or not.
What do you think about them going ahead and if they can do that, do it? And if not, then we would entertain a motion to move it slightly to the left.
Because we'd either have to move it to the right between the two trees, which isn't optimal because when they're trying to mow
Right.
between that, or behind, which isn't optimal because of where everybody parks.
Right.
So the left would be best if we can get that hole up.
How big is this gumball?
I want to say it's a 12-foot octagon, maybe, 10-foot, 12-foot, it's
12 foot.
decently.
Yeah,
About that,
yeah.
Mrs. Mayor, do we need a motion since they've already been approved?
They have already been approved. I'm feeling like we should probably make a motion similar to if the post can't be removed, then the location. Has that,
Gotcha.
what, do you have 2 cents to throw?
I do, Benny's down there certain parts of the day, he might be able to hook up with you and work out a location, and you guys can, that way he makes, because he might know where drainages are versus things like that.
This is, nothing has to be anchored. It is self-supporting. We don't have to dig anything. So we shouldn't be, we don't have to call PUCO. We don't have to do any of that. It's just sets on top of the ground. Like I said, the only issue is that hole. And like I said, we had kicked around, because my husband has every tool in the world. We had kicked around sawzalling it, but the problem with that is, like I said, it's basically like soccer. So if we can't get it down far enough and one of the kids fall on that, that was our concern.
And that might be is that a hollow tube filled with concrete or?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it, I'm not 100% sure. 'cause
It
that's been there
is
for
just
years. I'd
maybe
have to-
this big around,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
pretty good
is,
size.
like, when you look through, it is definitely hollow, but I don't know how far down.
Gotcha, yeah.
Like, I mean, and honestly, we could even,
I mean, if he busted it up just far enough down, a couple feet on the surface where it wasn't going to penetrate, if something fell.
yeah, that was the other thought, if that is what we need to do, if we want us to dig around it, and we can sawzall it down further down and like backfill it.
So I'm hearing you want that location. We just
It's,
need to get rid of that
honestly,
hole.
it's the best location,
Yeah.
like I said, because if we go behind, we're gonna run into parking. If we go to the right, then we're gonna have an issue with where the trees and the swings and trying to navigate the zero turn when they're mowing is gonna be a pain.
I'll make a motion that we authorize our guys to go down and see if they can remove it. and if not, that they are free to change locations and put over bids, I guess.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the table for approval to have our service department look at the pole and if not safely removed, to move the location. Joy Van Nuys seconded. Are there any further discussion?
When are we looking at, the install, I mean, is this like ready to move now, or do you guys have it, or just
So,
gotta be ordered?
like I said, the other thing is, just because with everybody else shipping, there's been so many delays. Sherry has had it's back ordered, but we were getting close to, like, the last email that she got was that we could potentially see delivery in the next 3 to 6 weeks. So that's why we were out on Saturday to see.
Okay.
So hopefully before the weather gets too ridiculous.
And with that discussion, do you need volunteers?
No, we've got it between the
And
dabs.
is this a bronze award?
Yes.
We're gonna clap. Yay! Okay, any other discussion? Because I'm a Girl Scout, I'm crazy about this stuff. Any other discussion? Guess not. And is there a vote for? All in favor, you all rock.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
so
you.
now the homework needs to be done.
Yes. I'm so happy to see you back in schools.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. You want us to put these back over there?
Yeah,
Nah,
we'll get them.
all right, Mr. Hedrick, you are up.
All right, well, we've already discussed some of the stuff. So this, Alderman Kirby and Dunford, the paving is all completely finished. And they do have the berm done, now they still have to come back and do around the manholes and stuff like that. And then, once that's done, we'll walk all the streets and make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be, and then we'll come up with a punch list of items that they have to come back and redo if there's anything that doesn't meet, like where they're talking about, if I can put that on the punch list items and have to give it to Alan, and they'll have to come back and fix anything that we put on the punch list, so. But I expect them to have that finished up pretty much, well, I guess it depends on the weather, because they gotta pour concrete and stuff around the manholes and stuff, some of them, so, you know, if we get a lot of rain this week, maybe they won't get it done this week. They were planning on it being pretty much done, except for the punch list items this week, but, you know, you never know what the weather's gonna be. If we get rain like we have been, then they probably won't be able to do some of it
Yeah.
right away, so. But I would say within the next 2 weeks anyways, it will definitely be completely finished. That project will be done. Good.
Nice, that's timely.
I talked to the guy from, Road Brothers, and they're gonna do the sealing. They seal High Street, and then they're planning on starting on that probably the week after the 15th, so the 15th falls on a Friday, so he said they had 2 jobs they had to finish up, and then they've got us and another community that they've got to get their machine and do the crack fields. So they're gonna do High and Church, which we've got the contract with them to do those 2 streets. So those will be done probably about 2 weeks from now. They should be getting them. I would expect they won't be more than a couple of days doing their crack seal. I doubt, I mean, unless they don't have a very big machine. I don't know how big their machine is, but I would expect a couple of days, probably what we're looking at. And they shouldn't be any big deal. I mean, people will be able to get in and around them and stuff, because they'll just go down the street and do all the cracks, and that stuff sets up pretty quick, usually once they get it down, so.
I tell you what, I'd like to volunteer to, when they have a date scheduled, I'll go around and if we can agree on some sort of notice, hey, people are gonna be working in this area, I'll go tape them to people's doors, just.
All right.
I can type something up.
Okay, you'll type it up, I'll go.
I can do my side of High Street, it's
Okay.
right there.
I'll make a note too, just let them know,
Look at us go.
because it is an inconvenience.
But I feel like just a little letter taped to the door, it might help.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, we didn't do
The
that.
culvert, she's got a resolution that, for that culvert project, so we can get filed for that grant for Main Street. So you guys will have, you can pass that resolution. We have to get that back out and right away as soon as possible, because I want to get that grant moving quickly if we can.
it has to be in before November 1st, whatever.
Right, but the sooner we get it done, the better, because I don't want
So we need to make a resolution basically, and then make a motion to suspend the 3 readings of
Yes.
it.
yeah, Alan drew the resolution up, sent it to us, so all it has to do is Shar has to sign it, and Carrie has to sign it, once you guys approve
Copies
it.
of it?
We can send it back to him.
Is this it? With resolution number?
I didn't write it down before I left, so I'll have to add later.
Yeah, resolution number, I'm sure we'll know soon. Do I need to read it? And then a resolution authorizing the mayor to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission state capital improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs, and to execute contracts as required. Whereas the state capital improvement program and the local transportation improvement program both provide financial assistance to political subdivisions for capital improvements to public infrastructure, and whereas the Village of Amanda is planning to make capital improvements to Main Street, and whereas the infrastructure improvement herein above described is considered to be a priority need for the community and is a qualified project under the OPWC programs. Now therefore be it resolved by Village of Amanda, the Mayor Charlene Fisher is hereby authorized to apply the OPWC for funds as described above. The Mayor Charlene Fisher is authorized to enter into any agreements as may be necessary and appropriate for obtaining this financial assistance. So,
This is, a 75-25 match, so we have 25, they covered 75.
We didn't get a cost from them yet.
Yes, it was given to you guys
Was
months
last
ago,
year.
that was the one with the culvert, it was,
Oh,
that was about 500,000 or whatever.
380,000 is what it was there, give or take, I mean, I don't have figures exactly right in front of me, but we had it last meeting, but I think it was right around 380,000, what the engineer estimated that the cost would be. I'm not sure that it's gonna come in anything like that, but
That's what we got the trench box for, right? Was partially because of that.
no, that we bought the trench box for our project. This here is gonna be something that we're gonna have.
Yes,
It's like 12 foot deep, it's.
down by Main Street.
Yeah, it's that-
Or, by the grain.
See, we did part of it already, when I was on vacation, when it fell in, they had the big hole, and then this is, I had the engineer and them look at it when that was open, and the big box culvert that goes underneath Main Street was showing signs of deterioration, and we don't want that thing falling through. So, we're gonna, if we can get this grant, that was the reason why I suggested last meeting that we hold off the Light Street project, that we was gonna try to do paving, or get the grant for paving next year, hold it off, and get that culvert replaced before we end up having a major issue down there, and, because we don't wanna have to take that out of our funds, if we can get the grant.
Right.
That's gonna be a huge project.
Material costs are all over the
I have
place
a
right now.
question, just a general guess. What does the 1%, what does that get used for?
What, 27% goes into the general fund to cover expenses throughout the general fund. 20.5% goes into regular street operating fund, which is maintenance of the vehicles, replacing, repair, maintenance, all that stuff, mowing, gasoline, salt, things like that. The 52.5% goes to repair streets. That's the only thing it's used for.
I mean, do we have an account sitting with a bunch of money in it?
Not
Somewhere
really, I
that's-
mean, we.
I mean,
have-
there's no way we can use that kind of money in the village.
You are welcome to come in
spend out,
anytime and ask for the appropriations.
We spend out about, it depends, most of these projects we've been doing, the streets and alleys and stuff, it takes quite a few $100,000 to do. So sometimes we have to build up to do a bigger project. So, but we try to get grants to cover some of it, that way we're not spending all of our money, and we just can pay portions at each time, and then we can do more projects. So just this past year, we've done alleys, we've done culverts, we've done, the crack and seal, we did Holderman up at Kirby. That's a big home. To just do one block, you're talking, not sidewalks, not nothing, you're talking about $80,000 to do just.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot this year.
And last year we did it because everything was held off by COVID. So we kind of had 1 year of project money that would have been spent last year that didn't, so now we're able to do a little bit extra. So we try to do that, and then we'll do a lot of projects for a few years to get some done, and then at that point, we're kind of diminished all that money, and then we have to not spend for a few years till we build up to the bigger projects, is how we typically.
And guys, like Carrie said, for anything we do, we try to get source side grants.
Yes, yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a playground, if it's a roads, if it's buying a vehicle, whatever, we always look for alternative funding as well.
So there's the sidewalk improvements, road improvements, and they've done a good job.
When we did Main Street, it was $500,000 just to pay Main Street. That's not sidewalks, it's not curbs. We paid $100,000, they paid, their grants paid $400,000. So that's a big chunk that would come out of our pockets.
And to add to that real quick, it's council led by what the community wants. So for people to come and talk to us and not do this on the community pages, but come to the community meetings.
Absolutely.
He made us.
Thank you.
I might have encouraged.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
Every meeting I might have encouraged.
Thank you.
For years, we had no money. I mean, we were lucky if we had enough money to get through the end of the year. Until we put the 1% in, we were at the point that we could have been going over into the county. Now we're sitting good to where we can actually repair a building. We can actually replace a dump truck that's been here since the 90s. You know, we're at that point now, the backhoe is,
1992.
you know, that's ready, that's on its last leg, you know. So we're at the point now that we can finally start repairing or replacing stuff and getting it scheduled. So we're doing very well, so.
As you guys start replacing equipment, even the dump
Yes.
back, so the old stuff, do you guys auction it off? or-
We typically put it out
So,
for-
like, let's see if it auction.
We normally just announce it at first to see if anybody, like other municipalities, and then we'll from there, yeah.
If you guys stick around, you're gonna be begging about ordering $102,000.
Yeah.
Because ours is cost, where do you say?
That's a huge,
That's
that's a huge discount.
$20,000 a year for the last couple of years to keep repairing that thing, to keep it running.
Yeah, they,
He feels about every day.
Yeah, we do.
He knows what you're talking about.
well, I don't wanna get into it, but there was over 20,000 put in just a few years ago. Most of these people right here were not on council at the time, but that backhoe, that $20,000 should have been put on a new backhoe, because that backhoe is no better after they put 20,000 in than it was before.
Yeah.
I'm not bad mouthing anybody, they did what they thought was right. The
Cheaper way out.
would have been better to replace it, I mean, the hoe is over 30 years old, so it's a 92 model hoe, so you're right at 30 years. So
Trade her in.
that's a lifetime one.
So, we need to get back on track for our resolution. I am glad you asked questions, I just, I got.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm learning, I'm learning, and I'm glad you asked questions, I don't want you to think I'm being rude, because I'm saying, now we gotta get back to this. So, what about that resolution?
I will make a motion to accept the resolution as it's written, and waive the other three readings.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the resolution and waive the 3 readings, and Holly Landis has made a second to that motion. Any other discussion?
So we deem this as an emergency resolution, correct?
Yes.
We do. Thank you, sir. And are there a vote for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yays. Any against? I don't think so. Woo.
Do we know the resolution number yet?
I forgot to check before I left the office. That's one thing I hate about being here, I can't double check, say. So, I was hoping to see if there was a number on one of the ones from last month.
All right, next we have park and beautification.
Sure, I'll go.
Thanks.
Why not? So we have our fall festival coming up. We're gonna have, games. Friday, we're gonna have the chili cook-off, the pie baking contest. I think, what is it, Thursday is the art walk, and the costing contest, so,
Where are we on, online registration for the parade?
I have not anything in, and nobody's, posted it at the post office, but the library, put copies
Copies
out
and
there
everything,
at the
I was just
library.
triggers.
Yeah.
So the online registration, that form I showed you?
I have it there and already put it up.
Oh, great, okay. Sounds good.
Holly, I want to know why the mayor is to be the official taste tester of the chili from
we welcome judges, so if you wanna be a judge, we are more than welcome.
Right on.
It's tradition, lads.
Good job with the Dave.
And I think I have my daughter convinced for us to enter a pie, but I don't know yet, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna promise that.
And it's
Gotta-
traditional,
gotta meet,
lad.
Yeah.
Who started this? The mayor.
He's our daily.
And the friends. All right, thank you, Holly. Yes, please.
The chili cook-off, I have passed out all of the entry forms because we limit the chili cook-off to a business only and within the village.
H&A Turner.
And I don't know is everybody able to join the pie?
Yeah, I was wanting to try to cater to maybe, and although 25-year-olds like to bake, I was trying to include, as I'm often associated with youth, I wanted to try to include some of the older generation to be a part of our festivities. And Nick, and Holly, to bake. And I have been letting people know that want to enter the chili, that it's business only, but if they have a problem with that, to continue to bother you about it.
Take your chili someplace else.
Yeah, I've been,
Smells like sass.
I have been explaining that with COVID last year and with the amount of sanitary precautions we still must take, that's why you've been keeping it at a business level. So,
We also have in December, we're gonna have Santa Claus coming, over by the library in the gazebo, and then obviously our tree lighting ceremony, so look for those dates. Santa.
oh yeah, you all have a little girl, huh? Yes.
Santa's coming to town.
Telling my friends coming December 4th. All right, thank you, Holly, and thank you, Dwayne. Anything else on Parks or Fall Festival and Big? Fabulous. Budget.
I did put something in everybody's box, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read it before. With the COVID relief money that they gave to municipalities, after a whole year of going online to what are those called, webinars, they finally explained to us how to apply for the American Rescue Plan that is divvied up between municipalities. We're going to get less than what they originally said a year ago because they decided to divvy it out to townships as well. So I applied last month. Within a few days, we got our confirmation, and the first installment deposit in the bank. So, we got $38,652.14. We get 2 installments, one this year, one 12 months later. So when it's all said and done, we're going to get $77,306.28. This money has to be earmarked before 2024 and has to be spent by 2026, so we do have some time. It can be used for public health and safety, the development of water and sewer broadband projects, infrastructure, water, sewer, broadband projects, as long as it's an EPA qualified under their, if we are applying for grants from EPA, revolutionary revolving funds, if they're qualified, then it would be qualified under this. We could also do some assistance programs for people that was benefit. There was different things that was under these qualifications. So I kind of put together a couple things that was on our repair and replace list for our 5-year plan. 1 year as possibilities. I've asked them to get me some what do you call it? Some quotes to find out how much those projects were, because that could be something that we could use that money for. And then some other things, so if you guys want to review some of
Yeah, I missed that.
the things in there.
Can I see yours?
Did you come in after?
You came in over the weekend.
Carrie, can you educate me?
Yeah.
When we receive those monies, did they go into our general fund?
No, it goes into a own fund by itself. The government made us create a COVID relief American Rescue Plan fund, and that's the only thing that can be spent on it is what their qualifications. Now, we're allowed to spend it and then send, we have to act to file reports with the federal government and like quarterly, and let them know what we've appropriated to for, what we've spent it on. And like, say if we spend it on a street project that wasn't qualified, we have to pay that back. So we gotta make sure what we spend it on is qualified under their regulations. So there's certain specifics, but I got on there maybe some, there's 3 people still in town that's really struggling since COVID that has had their water shut off for long periods of time. I mean, I thought about maybe doing some assistance program there. There's a couple nonprofits here in town that contacted us last year that's struggling since COVID because they can't get out and do fundraisers. So I thought maybe that's something we could earmark just a little bit of it.
Let us use that money for that.
It says for assistance programs, so as long, I would still have to double check to make sure those programs would, and then I also thought about, we said that we might have to put in a few things down the sewer, the lagoons.
Right.
So we might have that, that could be qualified, and, there's maybe the land that we're wanting to buy to put in the other well. Being that it's what's that, how's it word? It says project stuff, because it's a pre-project is now available.
Pre-development.
Pre-development, now we might be able to even use that money to purchase the land.
We can use the money to purchase the
That's
land if
what I
we
was
can find
told that-
someone that'll sell us the land for the well.
Because they added that just the last couple months, so we might be able to
That's
use that for
priority.
that, the well and running the line back to the plant.
When you say that's
So
priority?
These are, to me, those are the priorities that we've already looked into in the last 5
Absolutely.
years, so. But if you guys have any other projects, I figured the budget committee or the service committee can come together and maybe come up with some other ideas or whatever, and then, maybe we don't have to earmark it for a while, we could go ahead and spend what we already have now, and then spend the other half that comes in next September, or whatever, or if you wanna wait to spend it all together, that's up to you guys, but I figured we have till 2004 to figure that out, but I figured maybe this is something we ought to do over the winter, maybe kind of try to pull together our resources to come up with a plan.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Good job, Gary.
I agree, I think the budget committee and the service committee and, maybe even the parks committee can sit down if we can use it for,
Right.
anything park.
I don't think we can, personally, if I'm looking through the list, Parks is not included in that.
Bummer.
But the land purchase is in. with
But the land, well, it's actually, the land that the park sits on is actually a water plant. We only utilize the excess land
Okay.
for the park, so it's actually the water plant.
Okay.
But yes, so I just figured, it took a long time to figure out, I was on the internet a lot trying to get how it was gonna get done, because we have to submit through one place, so we gotta get our money through them, but we have to file reports through other places, so it was.
Well, my 2 cents is our priority is getting that land and that well with our 60-year-old piping.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and also I think while we're doing that, when we start talking about the wells and things like that, I think water quality should probably be part of the conversation.
Absolutely,
A big part of
absolutely.
the conversation.
Everybody loves free money, and
Yeah.
it's free money.
And I do love the fact that the Grange, it takes a lot to ask for help.
Yes, it was. That's why I thought maybe the
That
idea was a
organization.
tiny bit of it for,
Yeah, to reach out to us.
a couple people or a couple nonprofits. that,
Well, for the nonprofits, and with the 3 properties, I've been behind on my bills, I've had a disconnect before, so I understand, I empathize, but I can also hear a lot of backlash from every other resident. Well, we keep up, we've suffered, we've been without work, so that's touchy.
Yeah.
But nonprofits, the Grange, the Masons in the village, so we can all discuss that in private committees, I was just throwing my 2 cents out there.
I
Because
agree.
I'm good with that.
I agree with the land. I think that needs to be first and foremost. Hopefully,
It was a
you know anyone who
compromise.
wants to sell, we really don't want to do eminent domain.
Yes, I
Need
got
it.
it's all on the computer,
ASAP,
so-
yesterday.
What are they wanting me to?
we need at least,
We were trying to watch the kid
For last night.
so we need at least 10 acres minimally that we can drill a new well on, because one of our wells is going to eventually collapse because the inside of the well can no longer be re-sleeved. And if that happens, we only have enough water in the village for 2 days.
We got 2 other wells. We
You
can-
have 2 other wells, but it's gonna, we're gonna have to limit usage because the 2 other wells aren't gonna be able to keep up with the current usage in the village.
Let's go to that topic in our committee meetings.
I was gonna say,
Because,
somebody, that's, Holly, I don't want to, but that's not, whatever, who told you that, that's not true. The 2 wells, we only operate on 2 wells at a time anyways. The only thing is, that 3rd well, I like to alternate the wells, that way you're not dull. So what I do is every 2 weeks, 1 well gets shut down, the other one comes on, then those 2 wells are run, and the one that's been on for 4 weeks gets shut down for 2 weeks. Let them rest, let them fill back up, let's keep the water good. But the 1 well was drilled back in the early 70s, or middle 70s, and it's starting to show issues with the casing. Now, if that blows a hole in that casing, that well's gonna be done. I mean, but we can see pits in the casing, so if that piping goes bad, or that casing goes bad, then they're gonna have to shut that. We'll have to shut that well down, we won't have a choice. EPA will say, it's gonna shut it.
And we'll ever use the other 2.
But, yeah, there would be no way to rest the other 2 wells, which is not good. I mean, yes, can we keep up? We can keep up for a while. Now, if something happened, if one of them wells went down, then we would be in trouble. I mean, then I couldn't keep up.
we'll get ahead of it as best we can.
Right.
Is that it for budget?
Yes, that's it.
Anyone else? Zoning? Do you have anything, Mr. Hedrick, for zoning?
We've had a couple of things on zoning, but, we've filed papers to a couple people and stuff, but right at the moment, nothing's come back that we're,
Yeah, we're waiting, the cease and desist, we have another week to remove stuff.
so if that one doesn't come back, we may have to move forward on that one, but.
I did see a new fence. Where did I see the new fence at? It was supposed to be free.
Halderman Street, it's at 310 Halderman Street. Really nice. What do you guys think of the fence? Yeah, it's
So this way you're doing something, you said not Michael, yours fits.
So
And,
We might need pictures in the inspection.
No, I have my permit here, I do, thank you, Ben, here, I have my permit. It's a wonderful fence, the guy's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, the guy was, they were a good crew.
In fact, they're thinking about having him do that.
Is that right?
So-
Very precise.
Good.
I mean,
He's a good guy, he's a good guy.
husband and wife, she's been working with him too. And they're out there stringing screws.
so I did bring to attention, the issue that came to us last night on Lutz.
Yes, I was gonna.
I did bring a brief attention to Carrie. Did she relay it to you? And if Jeff, you want to expand on it a
Yeah,
little?
yeah, so there was a gentleman at 330
Yeah.
Sloops. From the sounds of it, it sounds like his basement floor drain's tied into the storm sewer. And when that heavy rain and that drainage ditch that Alan said's already at capacity, when that happens, it blows back up in his basement. So he's currently got a plug in it, and
He disconnected it several years ago, that's probably been.
well, no, he said that was his neighbor that was disconnected. He's not. He's still connected to that storm sewer. He would like to be disconnected.
He expressed a lot of frustration over how it was handled
He was
a few years ago.
Yeah, he was adamant that his neighbor was disconnected, and then that drain just became a French drain. And he would like the same thing done, just disconnect it and make his existing floor drain a French drain, so that he didn't have to worry about it blowing back up.
I remember Ralph and them were down there on that years ago. I wasn't involved in that, but Ralph and them were down there, and I mean, what he was wanting done was it was on his property. There again, you have to be very, I mean, when we go start getting on people's property and doing work for them, that we're opening a big bag of worms, because then if you fix his, you're gonna have to fix everybody else's. Now, I don't know that, I'm not gonna say that they didn't do it. If they did, they shouldn't have. That's been my policy for years with anything with water and stuff. If the leak's on us, we fix it. If it's on somebody else, we don't fix it, because if I fix theirs, then if somebody else has a leak, they can say, well, you fixed theirs, why didn't you fix
That's what he
mine?
said last
Well, you
night.
don't, you can't get.
That's
you can't get
exactly
yourself
what
into
he
that
said last
situation.
night.
Now, if it's ours, if it's out on us, and the problem's on us, then, yes, I agree wholeheartedly that we should, but if the problem's on him,
So, I agree with you, and I think it's a tricky situation, and it really sounds like that very thing happened, and now I feel like we're kind of forced to deal with it, but by the same token, our storm drain is backing up into his basement. Now, is the solution a check valve or a backwater valve or something? I do think I think we should have a conversation, and maybe, I know I like to go to the engineer a lot, but maybe even see what Alan's thoughts are. But I think we definitely need to investigate it and maybe have a conversation with the gentleman and try to see what's going on. I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Ralph and them would have told him before, that's where
I mean, he basically said, it happened a few years ago that some repairs were done to his neighbors, and then he was told it was his problem, and he doesn't live in the village or something, and he asked the candidates, like, what would you do in this position? He was very frustrated.
And he is a village resident.
I know who it is, I know the guy personally. And I would do anything for anybody, but there again, I don't know.
It's not on village property, it's
Yeah,
the homeowner's responsibility, I
it's
get that.
It's on his property where the problem is at, actually, where at least that was my understanding at the time.
And then if something happens, Benny, when you're on our property, we assume liability.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there, so here's a question for you, Benny. That main sewer, or storm line that runs down through there, that's already over capacity, we know, or Alan looked at it and said, we can't add to this.
Yeah, we can't, we couldn't, as a township, tie anything bigger into it.
Right, is there, does that run on his property?
No, it's on village property.
Well, I think what he would like for us to do is just dig down and cap off that branch. I mean, if we could cap it off at the main, or, put some sort of cap there and leave a couple foot with some gravel, so do a French drain. All he wants is some way to drain his dehumidifier. And we could cap, if we could at least look into,
We could look at it, I don't know.
rather than digging on his property, is there an option to maybe dig on village property and just cap it?
I mean, I can't say without.
Of course.
I'm not gonna say hey, or nay. I mean,
Right.
It's possible, I'm not gonna say it's not possible, anything's possible, I mean, I don't know, I wasn't involved in it, so I guess I could probably talk to Rick. I think Rick and them, I know Rick and them have been down there and worked on that tile in certain spots. I don't know that, I haven't personally worked on that tile, so I can't say.
But maybe we could just do some checking and maybe communicate with him, and I'll be happy to, or if you,
Yeah.
however I can help.
Yeah, I can, I mean,
That's all, and it's something when we have to go backwards and try to fix things that we weren't involved in. It exerts energy and time and resources.
well, the thing is, you just don't know what was done before. That's
Right, right.
Yeah.
If I knew what was done before, then
Ralph was
I would say,
he says.
yeah, they did, or if they didn't do
No idea
it.
anything about it. So we'll see.
I guess I could question Don and them. It would have had to been Don or Rick or somebody that done,
Yeah.
if he's saying somebody did the work and it was a village.
Yeah, he didn't want to mention a name, but, I mean, obviously, we've had the same employees in administration.
Right, so, I mean, I can ask them if they were involved in anything, because
He said it was done on a weekend with village equipment. Yeah. Right.
That's why I didn't want to mention names, I think.
Yeah.
But just maybe look into it, see if we can get some kind of resolution.
Yeah, and maybe, if there's some.
Well, I can assure you that would not be done as long as I'm village administrator.
I know that
I'm
for sure.
If somebody does that, somebody's gonna be.
We know that.
Yeah, because
We know that, yeah.
They better be coming to me and telling me
Sure.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if they do something on the weekend, and and I don't know about it, yeah, I guarantee you, council may not like it, but I'm gonna tell that person, or they're gonna get written up pretty drastic,
this
because that kind of
council will like
stuff
it.
cannot happen.
Yes, sir, and I think we'll
I'm
back you
sorry,
100%.
that's leaving us all liable.
Yes, sir.
That's misuse of property, funds, time.
Yeah. This mayor and this council back you up.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff, I want, if we're doing something for one person, then we need to do it, we have to do it for everybody. That's just the way I've always felt about it. That's the reason why I've always said, well, all the years I took care of water and stuff, that, you know, I would never go on somebody's property and fix a leak. Now, if it's ours, we'll fix it. But we can't go on there and do that, because if we do, then you've got to do it for everyone. You just can't, I can't say, well, I'm going to do it for so-and-so, because I know them for years. But I'm not, then the next person, he comes up to me and he's got the same problem, I don't know him, we need to do it for him. You can't do that stuff.
Exactly.
It's just the way, you can't operate that.
Exactly. So I'm happy to go with you and talk to Mr. Hill after you speak with Rick.
Yeah, I can talk to Rick and Don and them and see,
Jeff.
see what was done, if they know anything about what was done, and
Jeff and I are willing to help, and even if they don't recall anything that was done, we still need to go forward and try to help in some way if we can. How's that sound?
yeah, I mean, if we can do it on us, I don't have a problem with doing that.
I believe effort is most of, if people see that we're trying, that effort is what we need to put forward.
Absolutely. I mean,
And communication and
I'm all for helping
transparency.
anybody in the village if we can help, we just have to be careful how we go about doing it.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. So anything else for zoning? On to services. Did you have something else for zoning?
I have some for service.
Okay.
Prior to Dawn starting, our street department guy was, Michael, what's his name?
Norman.
Michael Norman, sorry. His wife was the clerk prior to me. He passed away this weekend. I just want to recognize that, a past employee who passed away over the weekend.
So we need to absolutely get a tree for him and dedicate.
I think so, since he was the street department guy for a long time in the community.
Yeah, he was the street department guy prior to Don.
Yeah. It's another reason why I want to get the Amana Neighborhood Watch program going to where we can, maybe bring some food to her or maybe check in on her, take turns a couple weeks down the road after the funeral and things are starting to hit her and she's alone. Even though she has family, the village should be her family too. Even if you guys don't know her and I don't know her, but I know her daughter-in-law and her granddaughter, and I know she lives in the village, so I think we should look out for each other. But yeah, do we need a motion for accepting to do a tree in memory of Mr. Norman? Holly makes a motion to purchase a tree in memory of Mr. Norman. Nick seconds the motion. Are there any other discussion? And is there a vote for? All in favor? Thank you for bringing that up. Property maintenance. Oh, our favorite topic. Oh, you have something else for service?
All right,
Look at me trying to get through this meeting.
Does everybody have a copy of it?
so you should have two copies. One's a packet with Caterpillar stuff, and the other one's from Ag Pro, with John Deere better stuff.
I just need to offer some paperwork. I got my paperwork
You
Saturday.
got it this morning, and then you probably didn't come back and sell it to them.
I put them in the office, but I did have it.
Because she didn't make it over there to check it. Hold on a minute.
I always do, I did not.
So last month,
You left the door last time.
we talked about this back in this Cat 416, and we desperately need. And I made a motion that we go ahead and pursue this. Mr. Martin made an amendment to the motion to pursue it, but he wanted to see prices. Back page of this, total selling price after discounts and everything else, $102,648.54.
You said 642?
102.
102.
648 dot
Six of them, then.
So we can each drive one around here.
So, we did a big discussion and everything, last month. Motion was made to pursue this, so I'm once again asking council to go ahead and pull the trigger, so to speak, on this thing and get it purchased. The reason being is because of the code stuff and the manufacturer's delays and all this stuff. We're realistically looking about March, April before we even receive it, if we got it ordered in November. Okay, so I am asking that somebody besides myself, perhaps make this motion and we get this thing purchased.
What's this ag process attachment for?
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second.
Now, the backhoe is going to be a loan that we probably will do in, like a yearly loan, probably a 4-year, to have it paid off.
So,
I have a question, Dave, if I can.
Yes, sir.
So just clarification. So it's got Caterpillar list price, less Sourcewell 416 discount. I assume that's the Caterpillar 416.
Right.
And then it says Sourcewell 420 selling price, less of discount. So I'm just confused because one's 416 and one's 420, which,
I think he probably just, that's probably a typo.
Okay, so he-
16,
yeah,
it should be
they both
416.
should be 416.
We already said we did not want the 420.
Right, it's gonna be the 416.
And this will also be on the Ohio EAS purchasing, program too.
right, and it looks like, so we get a discount of 22% off the list price and then another 10% discount roughly.
Correct.
Off the price, so, I mean, that's a pretty substantial savings.
That they knock, and like I said, but you're getting government co-op pricing, so that, the government bids this stuff out, the state of Ohio does, so that's how you get discounts, some of the discounts.
Yeah, so just, I guess just, I'd like to go on record that the list price is 148, 620, 120, and our price is 102, 648, 54. That's, I mean, that's $46,000 less than this price.
Dave, Ben, did you guys find out if you have to put so much down? Or do we know when it gets?
He did not say, he did not specify when I talked to him, so I'll get back with him. The only thing is, I think we probably, I just got the price, I believe he sent it to me Friday, when he got done. So I would say we're right at the first, so we probably won't need to order by like the 1st of November, because most of the time they only guarantee these prices for like 30 days or so, because of the way things change all the time.
And the good thing you bring that up, because I think the last one you brought to us,
Right.
the last price you brought to us was about 99.2.
Right, so it's went up a couple
So
thousand.
it's increased that much since we got the last bit of information on it.
That was back in May. So you're talking, 4 or 5 months. So my suggestion would be that if council wants to do it, then we probably should order no later than the end of this month. And that way, I can get with him, find out if we need to put anything down. I don't know, being a government, most of the time, I don't think they require that you do that. I mean, they're pretty sure they're gonna get their money, being it's a government agency. So I don't think we'd have to put anything down. He didn't say anything. So, yes.
I was just gonna say, I would say, I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and get it purchased, with the understanding that if we do have to put it down, just make sure that we have the funds. So if there's something that happens weird with the funds.
And I was assured we had the funds, Holly, is that correct?
Carrie.
Well, I'm talking to Holly. but I'm looking at
We just have to go to the bank and get the paperwork done, yes.
Yeah.
When we bought the truck, we still have one more payment next year, so we didn't want to have too many years of overlap payments. So next year will be the only one that we have a truck and a backhoe payment, and then, and that's why we wanted it for next year. That's why we want to go ahead and do it or now, but we have it, but yeah, I want to
I
make sure we
appreciate
get the bank.
how fiscally smart and you are.
I'm like that. I like to just, I don't like a lot of debt.
Large debt.
Yeah.
So there's a motion on the.
I second.
floor to purchase the CAD, and Dwayne Boyd is seconded. Is there any other further discussion?
How often do we, I mean, it's just a daily use type thing?
That backhoe gets used almost every day for different things. Maybe not necessarily digging with the back end all the time, but for a lot of other stuff, loading stuff, moving things. I also, and he also expected, I had expected so that the front bucket could be, we could get the forks to put on it at a later, I told him, I said, that's something we can purchase down the road, but like for unloading fire hydrants and things like that, it'd be nice to have where you just drop, pull the thing, drop the bucket, and put the forks on it, and then anything heavy like that we've got to pick up. So, I mean, that was something that's not gonna be a huge sum of money.
Isn't snow removal a possibility for that too? Wasn't that part of it too?
I mean, yeah, we use it to load, I mean, it's used to load salt, stuff for the trucks, and, you know, snow removal, it probably doesn't do a lot of snow removal. I mean, maybe sometimes when you take it, like the drive going back to the lagoons or something, if it gets really deep, we go back through there and push it out and let, you know, dump it over the sides and stuff like that. But out on the streets, it probably won't get used for a lot of snow removal, but it will definitely be used to load salt and stuff like that, because that's what we.
I just know that last year, there was a couple times when the snow came down and the cars he wasn't able to get around with the truck and he went through with
Through
the
and pick it up with the
hoe.
hoe, yes, sometimes that kind of stuff, yes, you know, if it gets piled up, certain places might go down and scoop it up and stuff, yes.
I can appreciate the savings and the price. I take myself out of a council position and think as a resident, $100,000 for a piece of equipment for a small village just seems like a lot of money. And, that's kind of where I have a problem with it.
All
But
right, $100,000, right?
I know you used equipment and put money into equipment.
How many years did we have the other one?
It's a 92 model, so it'll be
That's
30 years.
$3,125 a year for the amount of years we got out of the last one.
If it takes care of this, then it should last that same amount.
What was the warranty on it? Was only a year?
Yeah, and the standard warranty is only 12 months, unlimited hours, I believe it said.
I mean, I don't want to put any additional money into the hoe we have now, so.
Right.
Like I said, like you said, a few years ago, previous, I think everybody here, I would want money to throw into that at that time, but here we are, so.
Yeah. So you gotta go ahead.
You gotta realize, you 12 months warranty, construction workers take them out there and beat the.
It's not out of them, yeah.
So you're not gonna get much more than 12 months out of them.
Right. Now, I think there's provisions in there, and I may be wrong, but the last time I looked, there was provisions in there for upgrading your warranties also, which adds obviously to the price of it, so.
I mean, the amount of hours we probably put on a year, we probably wouldn't benefit from that anyhow, I wouldn't assume that.
All right, any other discussion?
I have a question, really. So, what's the intention with the old backhoe, assuming we vote to get the new one? Are we
I
going
mean,
to sell it?
we can see if what they offer is trade. I personally think you could probably sell it and get more out of it than they'll give you trade in. That's just my opinion. I don't know, I mean, I've never had them price what they would offer us for. But in my opinion, I think you could probably sell it outright to probably a farmer or something around here and get more out of it than what you get, what they're gonna offer as trade. Now, I could ask them to come down and look at it and give us a price.
Is that
Well,
something council has to decide?
No,
Yeah, I mean, that's something we'd have to decide whether we wanted to trade it or we wanted to sell it, you know, put it out for bid, let people bid on it.
Something like that would go for five, six.
I mean, it depends, you just never know. I mean,
Depends if it breaks before you sell it.
I mean, if we get
I mean, right now, it's running, okay. I mean, yeah, it's down on power and stuff, but like a lot of farmers use it, like out in the field or something, they can get by with it. They might offer you never know. I mean, sometimes when you put stuff out for bid, you never know what you're gonna get out of it. You might get 10,000 out of it, you might get 5,000.
So that would help offset the cost.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, there's no way, what you could do is you could say, you know, we could have them give us an estimate of what they would, and then we could put it out.
I agree with you.
And then if they don't, we can put it out for bid, and you can put a thing on there saying, well, it's gotta bring at least this much.
Yeah.
Whatever they offer to trade, it's gotta bring at least that much, and if it don't bring that much, then we trade it.
All right, so it's back to this topic of purchase. There's been a motion, there's been a second. Any other discussion? About
What was
the
the second?
purchase of the cat, Dwayne
I second it.
seconded it. And is there a vote for? All in favor?
And I would definitely say for him to see if they'll give us trade-in, if not, I like the idea of setting the reserve for bid.
So do we need to make a motion for that, or?
I would say we need to amend the motion.
Well, I think we can just cross that bridge when the time comes.
Yeah, we can, and that's something I can have that guy come down and say, you know, tell him what we've got, and let them come down and look at it, and give us a price, what they think it's worth.
They're probably not gonna charge us to come down and look at it, so
No.
once they give you a price,
Okay.
we know we can probably get 15,
And then,
18,000, 15.
did you wanna answer his question about?
So then we can decide, you know, they're not gonna take the on trade till you
That's a
get the
good
other one in
idea.
anyways after the first year, so you can put it out to bid right away.
How much was the fork to buy?
I don't know, I never actually, I can price that, I didn't have him price that, but they weren't terrible expensive.
And did you have a question about the shovel or the fork or the other attachments or whatever?
I did, I just saw his ad pro, and I didn't know if it was tied to that, and he told me.
No, sir.
Okay,
So
so that's good, we're done with that part.
So part two, Fergo was at the special meeting. Was everybody here at the special meeting?
I was.
Okay. So a grasshopper, after we talked about it last meeting, and possibly replacing it, the motor blew a couple days after the meeting. So the special meeting topic was what we do with this grasshopper. So we made a decision to buy the motor for the grasshopper. There was also some discussion, because we need to possibly replace a tractor next year anyways. Whether we go with a grasshopper, whether we go with the John Deere, somebody, and I think it was Mr. Martin, made a suggestion that we get a price on a pull-behind mower, looks like a brush hog or a finish mower, that we can pull with the tractor we just recently purchased. So I believe this is what Benny got from us from Ag Pro. So the Frontier mower, rear discharge, screw mower, with rear train shields and front anti-scopic roller, $4,250, which is significantly less money than either if I'm not mistaken, Betty, it wasn't a commercial grade, John Deere, it was a residential grade John Deere we were talking about initially,
We were,
for the zero turn that we couldn't use.
we were gonna get the commercial grade.
Okay.
The commercial grade was, we were, you know, it was almost $10,000, not much shot of 10,000. And the
And the
grasshopper
was $9,950.
yeah, it was a couple $100 more than the John Deere was.
So this $4,000 piece of equipment can go into the lagoons?
It could be used to mow different places with,
Yeah.
behind the tractor, I mean, you got the tractor up there.
I don't think it'll be able to be used on the banks and stuff.
It's not, you're not gonna be able to use it on the banks, there's no way, because the banks are too steep.
So, I guess the thought process, we got this brand new tractor, which is capable of pulling this, why not utilize that? And like I said, we came in at $4,250. I think the talk was, we don't need this immediately, possibly revisit this after the first of the year. So this is just information that I asked Benny to get for us, and he did, and I'm thankful for that, sir.
Thank you, Benny.
So keep this in the back of our minds for, next year.
I mean, in my opinion, obviously, you know, it's like anything else, by next spring, it's gonna probably go up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get, they asked me to do that, I thought, well, let's just get an idea of where we're at, because I had no idea. Now, that is the commercial grade, that's not the
Yes.
lightweight, that's the commercial grade. So that's, I'm sure it's a little more, but I told him I thought for the way we use it, we probably should get the commercial grade.
Right.
Is this for like the big, if you like the park?
Right, it could be used at the park, it could be used like out here at the intersections and stuff like that. We cut down on some of the wear and tear on the zero turn.
Yeah. And it's something that we don't have to put more gas in, because, you know, it's just a PTO driven mower. so-
Right, it just goes right behind the tractor, just pull it.
Thank you, Ben and Dave, for that work and
No problem.
research and all the information. Is there anything else with services? Okay, we'll go on to our favorite, property maintenance.
All right, so I had property maintenance last month. Basically, all I did was went around and checked all the existing property maintenance violations, followed up on them, gave them to Carrie, and there was nothing new. It was just a repeating of what everybody did the month before, the month before that, and that month before that, and so on. So,
And then there's one address that we need to bring to the prosecutor, right?
One property at 303 Oak is already done, the first notification and the second notification, and it is due for prosecutor's notice. So we just need approval from council to move forward on the prosecutor's notice. And basically what that is a letter saying that you have so many days to rectify it, or it does go to prosecutor. So
And it's like 7 days to fix this?
the one is 7 days, one was the grass and the weeds, which was 7 days, and the other one was 10, so we just put 10 days on it. And being that they will not pick it up through certified letter, I'm going to send it through certified letter like I'm required, but I'm also going to send the homeowner, since it is a rental property, an email, because she has emailed me about the property and it before. That way I know she has a copy of this, saying it has to get cleaned up within those 10 days, or it goes to
did
prosecutor.
you need a motion to do that, Carrie? or-
Yes, I have a motion to go
And
to
can I
prosecutor.
add, with your mailing and emailing, there's another way to make sure that you pay like $1.50 and you get a receipt from the post office
Yes.
that they've put it in their box.
Well, this gives a receipt that they sign and dated, that
Yes.
tells me what day and that time they got it, because I need that, because that's the date that their violation starts on, the date they receive it.
For certified?
Certified, they, a card
But
that's
I'm
on their
talking about
thing.
something separate besides certified. You can go to the post office and say, I need a receipt and pay $1.50, and they will tell you, okay, I'm putting it in the post office box and here's your receipt. That way they can't not pick it up, because they can do that with certified. They can choose not to pick it up. Were you aware of that? I just learned.
Yes, that's their choice if they don't want to pick it up, but.
I mean, are you aware of the process of putting it in the mailbox? Going to the post office and giving,
But
paying for a receipt?
But I have to have that stuff, I'll have to look into it, but.
I just
if there's
did it a
another
couple
way,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
If there's another way, because
Yeah.
they have it to where we don't have to have a receipt back, but if we have to get a receipt back, we have to send them, we only have to send them certified.
That's what I'm saying, I just learned a couple weeks ago, you can go in the post office and say, I want this to post office box 152, and I need to pay for a receipt that you're putting into the post office 152.
Unfortunately, that doesn't tell me what day they actually pick it up out of their box.
Gotcha.
Which is what we require.
Yeah, so
We
she's
have
having
not-
a certified,
Gotcha.
a certified delivery receipt.
a delivery-
It shows it was picked up.
It was picked up.
Gotcha.
I'll make the motion that we pursue the prosecutor's notice for that, Carrie.
Fabulous, Davis got a motion on the table to go to the prosecutor's office with that address. Ms. Holly is second, are there any other discussion? And is there a vote for it? All in favor of going forward with the property maintenance?
Well, yeah, that's.
Any other property maintenance issues?
All three, I have nothing
Just
further.
one, one is
All right.
one.
Back here.
Next is old business, anything? The only thing I have is, Carrie and I are doing some training tomorrow, with beautiful fun stuff, so I don't have to ask my teenager how to work with it. And I would like, to recognize Carrie's minutes looked great last month, and we are always improving here as council, as mayor, as administrative team. The fact that we want to improve, I think it needs recognized. New business?
Yes. So I was at work last night and I got to view not all of the forum that Sharp put on for new candidates, but most of it, and I went back and caught up afterwards. And I just want to give you credit for credit's due. That was a very good idea. I think the people answered questions intelligently. It was all focused towards the community. And yeah, I did catch the back part of that, Jeff. I think it was Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Is that who had the?
I can't remember names, because I'm terrible.
Yeah, so I thought it was well done, it was a
Thanks.
benefit to the community and to the people that actually tuned in.
Thanks.
So, yeah, no problem, thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to get something positive. All right, anything else for new business? Fabulous. Before we get a motion to pay bills, you know me and my looking at what is going on with it. What's up with this United Methodist Church Christine Funk back and forth stuff?
What is it?
And then,
The $20, that's where they, reserve the parks, and I have to refund their deposit.
and then,
The PT Pettibone,
who's that?
that's the one where we, our ordinances have to be in like the red or black binding
Okay.
things, and I ordered like 2 ordinances, 2 resolutions, 2 or 3, I think it was 3 ordinances, 2 resolutions, and 2 proceeding books.
Did you do that 2 months in a row?
No, that was, it might have been, I might have not took off that one day, but that was on there for the last time.
All right, why is broadband $900? Is that for the year?
I usually pay for broadband for a year in advance, yes. I do a whole year payment, 1 payment at a time. And Raymar Steel, oh, no, that's.
No, you can forget that.
What's the average of 16,000, is that the call?
Okay, I'm glad that I.
Yes, that's the whole-
Money is being spent.
We have no issues with those resolutions.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they were
So now we are at-
$8,000 a piece.
Paying bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Charlie's made a motion to pay the bills and
Multiple seconds.
multiple seconds. We'll go with Dave Price made a second. And are there any discussion? And are there a vote for? All in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
Do any favors to adjourn? Nick Rude has second. All in favor? Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben.
Do you need to email?
Jeremy, you
Will you,
start.
uh,